Okay, and we are back. Welcome back to The Counselor, and I'm your host, Sheldon Stovall, and this is, we're talking about myths and facts with the COVID-19 vaccination. So we want to finish this up. I do have some guests coming up shortly, but I do want to encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel, hit that subscribe button. That is what's going to keep me in this seat. That's going to keep me being able to still sit here and do what I love to do best, and that is to be the counselor. All right, we're going to continue. We have another myth that I've heard very often. All events reported to the vaccine adverse event reporting systems are caused by vaccination. And the fact of that is anyone can report events to the VAERS, okay, which is the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, and even if it is not clear whether a vaccine caused a problem. Because of this year, they call it VAERS, VAERS, data alone cannot determine if the reported adverse event was caused by a COVID vaccination or not. So even a lot of these reports that are being sent in, again, this is not history. This is all history being made daily. And so we're learning, science is learning as they go. So trust that the government is not trying to delete you. They're not trying to delete a specific race through the COVID-19 because this affected every race, every nation, every person. So trust that at this time, you should trust your government. And I know it was difficult to say this 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, because of whom was in office. One of which, Whoopi Goldberg, has never mentioned his name once. But yes, President Trump, yes, a few months ago, you couldn't say, that you should trust the government. But today, with I call him Biden, President Joe Biden in the office, he seems very trustworthy. He seems like he's looking out for our country. So let's trust that our leaders are going to get us through this. And getting through this means that you have to know the truth. The truth is going to make you free. It's going to make you understand what you can't accept. So when you're looking at the truth, pay attention. Sometimes it's hard to digest. My mom often would say, the truth is like a sword going into your chest slowly. It's going to go straight in. It's just going to let you know. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but you have to receive it. And then, once the sword goes through your back, that pain starts to subside a little bit, right? So the truth, it's very difficult, but try to understand and determine it for yourself. Because again, there are people who are allowing these myths to be to their detriment. And when I say their detriment, I don't always mean death, but yes, they can die as well. So I believe part of the counselor coming out in 2022 is to open up that dialogue with America, open it up. No one's going to judge you when you call in. I'm not going to say you're wrong, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're Karen. I'm not going to say those things. We're going to talk with you and just motivate you to continuously do your own research and understand. And maybe someone else that calls in can help someone understand what their misunderstanding was. So I encourage you guys to please call in. This is going to be all week, Monday through Friday from 10 to 12. We have quite a few people on my calendar that are going to talk about how this has affected them. You don't have to just do it all in one day. This is the counselor. We can take as much time as we want with America to do what we can. All right. So I got a couple more myths and I'll be out your way. Myth. The next one that I think I mentioned a little bit of it, myths. COVID-19 vaccinations are microchips. COVID-19 vaccinations do not contain microchips. That's a fact. Vaccines are developed to fight against disease and are not administered to track your movement. So I'm not bought or sold by anybody, any programming, any government, private organization, I'm not working secretly for any advertising agency. I am a trained counselor. And like, again, as an unbiased person giving an unbiased opinion, and also just having this show being unbiased, I want you to understand that this is not the first time a vaccination has been completed this quickly. Vaccinations come, when they do, usually in 100 years, sometimes less. And as you guys can see, 100 years ago, we had no such thing as an iPhone. We had no such thing as an Apple phone. We had no such thing as a touchscreen. We had no such thing as email. Do you understand? We had no such thing. We were communicating with telegraphs and newspapers, and newspapers were expensive. They were a penny, and you had to scrape up whatever you had to get a penny at that time, right? So life's developed. So when people are saying, "Oh, I don't trust something that was just developed that quickly," why not? You can send an email. I can press a button right now on my computer, and I can contact 1,000 people. And by the way, those 1,000 of you, I need you to subscribe. I can contact 1,000 people right now at a press of a button. And if they're all scientists, and if they're all biologists, or if they're all working to get a cure or develop a vaccine, why can't they communicate, especially in a world crisis? All right. So, yes, the government developed this quickly. Of course they did. We have what they call technology. Okay. I remember when I wanted to be on the radio, people have told me, "Oh, Sheldon, you have such a good radio voice. I just love your voice." And I'm talking to girls on the phone or whoever. They're like, "Oh, I love to hear this. You sound good, boy." I remember when I tried to get on the radio, and this was a few years ago. I was doing a training class at WYBC, Yale University, and there was already like a guy who did a show in the morning there. And so I told him, I said, well, my dream was, and I got accepted to this program. I was so excited. And so I told him I want to get on the FM radio show. He's like, well, you're here for AM, not radio, FM. I said, okay. So long story short, I got on the radio. I was so happy. I finished the course. I got on my first day. I said, "Hi, this is Sheldon Stovall, and you are listening to WIBC." And all that, right? And all the lights literally lit up like on the monitor at like one time. Like the phone was like jumping off the hook. And he calls me out. He didn't even answer any of them. He calls me. Oh, he did answer one. Some girl was like, "Ooh, who is that? He sounds good." And he calls me in the office and he says, "I'm sorry, there can be only one star here, and it's not you." And he told me, "Have a nice day," and told me not to come back. And that cut my dreams so many places. And that was like 10, 15 years ago. And so I said, well, how am I going to get on radio? And this is pre-podcast. I'm telling my age now. Okay. And so look at me today. I'm on podcasts. I'm on YouTube. I'm on different networks. I have websites. I'm a published author, international. People didn't know this. I didn't think I would ever have made this far in my life so soon had I just believed the myth that, oh, if you're good, you may not get on the radio. So myths do hurt, and myths can cut people down, and it can destroy their dreams or at least slow them down. So my point to that is that there's no microchip in your body. It is illegal to put microchips in anyone's body. You are a human being. And once our government starts passing that bridge, then we are in trouble. The entire nation, the world is in trouble if our government feels comfortable enough to treat us as non-humans. All right? All right. And then the last myth that I want to cover, there's a couple more. Receiving a COVID-19 vaccine can make you magnetic. Are you serious? Okay. And the fact for that is receiving a COVID-19 vaccine will not make you magnetic, including at the site of a vaccine, which is usually in your arm. So basically, they usually inject the vaccine right here in your muscle. That's where it's able to take the most of the injection. Or I guess some people got it in the rear end. So where you're getting the injection, that's the injection site. So that's where everything is going to go from there. So if you're going to get some magnets or magnet, you're going to become Magneto, we'll say, with magnets in your arm. That's what's going to happen is that, you're going to start being able to stick to your refrigerator whenever you need to. Okay, that's a myth. All right, COVID vaccines authorized for use in the United States shed or release their components. Vaccine shedding is the release or discharge of any of the vaccine components in or outside of the body and can only occur when vaccine contains a live, weakened version of the virus. Okay? So, which goes back to what I was saying. The government is not all after trying to alter your DNA, make your arms longer, your neck bigger, turn into a deer. There's no goal behind this, and it would not have come in such an urgency. Okay? And then my favorite one, COVID-19 vaccinations can alter my DNA. COVID vaccinations do not change or interact with the DNA in any way. And I don't think that anything can be developed that quickly to be able to work and become that successful that we would all go back to being fish or monkeys, depending on which theory you believe. Or unblow up, according to the Big Bang Theory. All right. And then my final one, before we get to our callers, a COVID-19 vaccination can make me sick with the COVID-19. I do want to clear something up before I say this. I want to say this. It's a virus. Every human that walks the face of the earth is susceptible to a virus. So when this first happened, I'm going to tell you what my doctor told me. We're all going to get it at some point because it is a virus. And just like all the other viruses that still exist, all human beings are susceptible to this virus. And the fact is, because no one of the authorized COVID-19 vaccine in the United States contained the live virus that caused the COVID-19, the vaccine cannot make you sick with the COVID-19. In other words, they would need the original or the originator, the OG, the first person that got it, the first person that their body got attacked by this foreign body and delivered it to everyone else. Because if they can get to the origin, we can figure out what to do once we get it. All right. Stay tuned. We will be here. We're live all day till 12 o'clock. You can always call in. You can email me. I would love to hear your opinions. You can also post into my comments on the side. I do read them, and I appreciate all those of you who have commented. And more importantly, please, when you get an opportunity, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I want to stay here, and we're going to be back with much more information on The Counselor. Have a nice afternoon. I'll talk to you in a minute.